Your business can be profitable on paper, but you can still feel financially unstable. You see, more sales does not necessarily translate into fixing your financial stress. I've coached entrepreneurs who've doubled their revenue and still felt anxious every single month, but others who made half as much but still felt steady, confident, and completely in control. And the difference between them really came down to one thing: the entrepreneurs who knew how to separate assets from liabilities, and the one who were accidentally draining their cash flow without realizing it. You see, it's almost like you're holding a bucket with a hole in the bottom. Okay? If you don't cover this hole, it doesn't matter how much comes in, it's just not going to be able to hold it. You see? So that's what I'm talking about here. You see, once you understand this difference, you're never going to look at your business the same way again. I'm Yvonne Bramble, a business and finance coaching consultant, and I help entrepreneurs and small business owners to scale to six figures by mastering their systems, strategy, and mindset so that they can lead their business with confidence and clarity. And today, I'm going to show you how to stabilize your cash flow in the next 48 hours using just one simple shift that most business owners have never been taught. You see, because once you do this, your business stops feeling stressful and starts feeling secure, steady, and predictable. And that is such a great feeling when you do get to that point, and you will. So, why do you still feel pressure even when your business is bringing some money? Well, let's start with the part that no one really explained. If you've ever had this feeling of, I know I made money, so why does everything still feel so tense? Well, you're not alone. Most entrepreneurs are running businesses with no financial visibility, meaning that they don't actually know how their money moves. And when you don't understand your money flow, guess what? Every month is going to feel unpredictable. Every decision is going to feel heavier than it really needs to. If you've ever had this feeling of, I know I made money, so why does everything still feel so tense? Right? Well, you know what? You're not alone. You see, most entrepreneurs are running their businesses with no true financial visibility, meaning they don't actually know how their money is moving. And when you don't understand your money flow, guess what? Every month is going to feel unpredictable. Every decision is going to feel heavier than it needs to. Right? You avoid looking at your numbers. Guess what? You guess instead of plan. You overthink every expense because you're not sure. And you feel the pressure even when revenue increases. You see? And this isn't a financial issue. No, it's a clarity issue. There's a lack of clarity somewhere. One of my clients, a consultant, told me, I'm sending invoices, I'm getting paid, I'm staying busy, but every month ends the same way, with me wondering where all the money went. That's how our conversation started. Okay? That's how our coaching conversation started. Okay? That was the problem. That was the problem. See, the problem was that she had no visibility into how her money was moving. She wasn't tracking expenses consistently, wasn't clear on what tools were active or what tools were actually the most important and what tools to let go of. And she didn't realize how many liabilities were actually eating into her cash flow. I call those the little ankle biters, right? The little ankle biters, like little chihuahuas, just like, just really getting at you. And so you just really need to get a hold of things, right? Get the visibility and the consistency. That's what we're working with here. So when we looked at her numbers, okay, the reality was it wasn't so bad. She wasn't failing. She just couldn't see her business clearly. But guess what? Because she wasn't consistent in her numbers, there was a deeper reason that we had to work through. Okay, a lot of this is inner work. Why would she procrastinate in her finances and being consistent? Why? We went deep into the root of things to really remove those mental roadblocks so she can really transform her identity as someone that is on top of her business, that knows her business inside and out, that actually enjoys looking at her numbers and tracking her numbers, really, that it's a neuroassociative programming that we're working with here, okay? And so it's almost like when you're in the process of trying to lose weight. The hardest part is reestablishing healthy habits, right? So when you're starting out, emotions come in the way, and the emotions actually make the decisions, not you. So you can wake up and say, oh, I don't feel like going to the gym, right? And then the feeling is going to really be the one that's, your feelings and emotions are the ones that are going to make the decision. And so what do? That creates procrastination, right? Procrastination with not going to the gym. So it's these habits that we really needed to work on and rewire her brain so that she gets actual pleasure, right, from being consistent, from showing up on what's the most important part of her business. She wasn't making excuses saying, oh, she was too busy trying to improve and increase her business. I'm so busy, right? All this busyness, and then to do this thing. But guess what? This thing, understanding your numbers, consistently tracking your key performance indicators, your KPIs, your metrics. She didn't have metrics, okay? First of all. So that's what we want to work on, okay? The neuroassociative programming, the identity shift, okay? And go deep into the why. What's that root cause? It's a lot of work, but she was ready to show up for herself. You see? She just couldn't see her business clearly. But the moment we broke down her assets and liabilities, right now that's the strategy. First we worked on mindset, then strategy. Then you can feel the relief in her voice. Because clarity brings safety, and safety leads to better decisions. And when you feel unsafe about money, yeah, that's going to make you procrastinate. That's going to make you self-sabotage and make excuses that you're too busy to do that, you see? And the better decisions that you make creates better cash flow. See? So because clarity brings safety, safety brings better decisions, and better decisions create better cash flow. That's what we're working with here. So now let's talk about the 48-hour cash flow reset. Right? Here's the simplest and fastest way to calm the financial chaos in your business. And the 48-hour asset check. It's really 2 days. Okay? In 2 days, everything in your business gets labeled as either an asset or a liability based on one question. Does this help me generate income, save time, or increase my efficiency in my business? Okay? Does this help me generate income, save time, or increase efficiency in my business? If the answer is yes, great, it's an asset. But if not, oh well, you know what? You've got yourself in liability. So let's talk about this. Now, assets stabilize or grow your money. Assets are things like increased revenue, save time, reduces stress, increases conversions, improve efficiency, and support your long-term growth. This is what assets are, okay? So some examples include maybe your email list, for sure, right? A CRM that organizes your business, that's a great investment because that's going to really help you streamline and be more efficient, okay? And a lot of times it really prevents rework and duplicative work. Also a high converting landing page. So the investment you make on a great landing page for your product or service, high converting, that's a great investment. Okay, so that's going to affect your bottom line. Or maybe a skill that brings in clients. If you're working as, let's see, an IT consultant, and there are new certifications all the time, I know because I came from the IT sector, and you want to sharpen your skills by getting that new certification, that's an investment. Those certifications are not cheap, they're expensive. But guess what? That's going to help you to increase your skills so that you can serve at a bigger level to your clients. Well, then that's an asset. A consistent marketing system, that's a huge asset, because that's going to maintain the consistent flow of customers and clients. You see, business coaching is another one, right? You can't achieve a new level with the same mindset. And so all of the mindset work, the systems work, right? All of the strategic work from business coaching, for instance, that I do, right, helps you to get to the next level, helps you and your business, right? Because you are your business. If you're a small business owner, you know that, right? Or an entrepreneur. And so these things are going to move the needle forward for you. It's going to impact the bottom line. And these are the things that pay you back. So you invest in them. Now let's talk about liabilities. Liabilities, on the other hand, they drain your cash flow. Liabilities are anything that costs you money without a measurable return. So for example, subscriptions you don't use, tools you bought but never set up, courses you never implemented, inventory sitting there untouched, expensive branding that didn't convert, busy work disguised as business tasks, that's a big one, emotional spending, upgrades that don't move the needle. You see, all of these things are liabilities. That's that hole in the bucket that I was talking about earlier. You see, liabilities aren't bad, so to speak, right? In and of themselves, right? Maybe you do need that upgrade, right? But they just aren't contributing to your growth or the bottom line. You see, that's the difference. You see, one of my clients realized that she had nearly $300 per month in unused subscriptions. She freed up that cash instantly, and then she refunneled that $300, that hole in the bucket in unused subscription, and then guess what she did? She hired a social media manager. And now she's able to have a lot more opportunity to reach new clients through the marketing services that now she's able to funnel that. So it went from a liability now to an asset. You see, another client had tools they paid for but didn't set it up. Literally paying for potential instead of paying for results. And this clarity alone shifted her cash flow almost overnight. We took the time to assess, is this a liability or an asset? Is it worth the time and the effort to actually invest in turning this on? Yes, it was. Okay, then let's go ahead and do that, right? We took the time, right? She booked a coaching call with me and turned into a consulting opportunity to go ahead and support her to get this set up. I do have an IT background, luckily. So, that's not a problem for me to set up the sales funnel that she needed in order to set herself up for success, right? And so this really turned into a liability because she was, again, just paying for potential, and then it turned into an asset because this sales funnel was now turned on and it was available for the flow of clients, okay, to really get them into a streamlined way to work with her, okay? Now let's discuss the emotional side of liabilities. The emotional side of liabilities, that's important. Let's talk about something deeper because this is where transformation really happens. I can talk about liabilities on the outside, but the transformation really happens when you go deeper here. You see, most liabilities come from emotional decisions, not logical ones. See, when you feel overwhelmed, insecure, or uncertain in business, you might start spending to feel more in control, or to feel more professional, or feel more prepared and less behind, less anxious and less overwhelmed. I'm laughing because I think we've all been there, right? Where we want to show, I'll tell you a funny, not so funny story. There was an individual that wanted to really land a client. He was in a landscaping business, just started his landscaping business, did very, very well as an employee, and wanted to just build a nice client base. Here in South Florida, they do very, very, very well. And so, can you believe, just so that he can look better to his client, so his client can think that he's professional and he's got everything set up for himself, he went off and bought himself a brand new truck. okay, a brand spanking new truck, so that when he goes to visit the client can be impressed and give him the job. Well, needless to say, he didn't get the job, okay, which was very sad, because now he's got a car note to worry about. And I'm sharing this example with you just because I think we've all done that, right? Whether it's a new car, a new pair of shoes, a new outfit, right? Or just overspending just so that we can feel more confident, right? And it's a business. Oh, it's a business cost, right? Oh, it's for the business. Well, no, it's an emotional decision. It's not a logical one, right? When you feel insecure or uncertain in your business, again, you start spending to feel more in control, to feel more professional, more prepared, right? So these are the things we need to watch out for. So we need to identify a strategy and stick to that strategy. But if you don't have a strategy, it is the emotions that are going to run the show. See, emotional spending, even when it's for the business, still behaves like a liability. Your nervous system is driving more business decisions than your strategy is. And that's why the 48-hour asset check really works. It removes the emotion and replaces it with clarity. And clarity is what creates relief, confidence, and financial stability. Now, if you need any help or support in any one of these topics that I just discussed, or any other area in your business, feel free to book a one-on-one coaching call with me. I'd be happy to support you. I also have a group coaching. If you're not ready to invest in one-on-one coaching, there's certainly an opportunity to join us in the group coaching that will support you to get to the next level. And I'd love to see you and work with you closer to be able to achieve your dreams and goals in your business. Now let's turn these liabilities into cash. Once you identify your liabilities, don't panic. See, most liabilities can be converted into assets, and here's how. Okay, step one, what you want to do is cancel or pause anything that you're not using, and this immediately frees up cash. Step two, you want to activate the tools that you identified as assets and are going to help your revenue grow, right? Those that you're already paying for example. If you bought something, set it up, because a tool becomes an asset only when it's used, not when it's sitting there idle. Step four, what you want to do is redirect spending towards real ROI, towards real return on your investment. And here's the question to ask before spending anything. Does this increase my income? Does this increase my confidence? And does this give me more clarity, or does it help me become more consistent in the things that matter the most? And I'll tell you a quick story here. I do this also for my business. And one decision that I had been really pushing off was a decision to hire a social media manager, because I was just so busy with all these other things. And then I sat down and I thought, my goodness, I was pretty inconsistent with that. But guess what? Having an audience that I can help and teach, train, support, right? And could potentially become a client because of that, there's a huge opportunity there that I was not tapping into. And so I didn't have the budget, but what did I do? I created the budget. I made the budget through doing that exercise I just showed you. I looked at the areas, right, that were liabilities, certain subscriptions that I knew I could clean up. There's always an opportunity to clean things up. And then I funneled that into the asset of getting that social media manager and locking that in. And I can already see the results, not just in my bottom line, but in the confidence that I'm gaining to be able to reach a broad audience in TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. You see? So before I was just on YouTube, but now I'm able to expand, and not just expand because I was doing that, here and there alone, but now I have someone that's dedicated to growing that area of my business, and that is a huge support. And that is an example of what I'm telling you here in terms of an asset, because that's absolutely impacting my bottom line. It's absolutely a revenue stream, right? Bringing in more opportunities for the business. So these are assets. So I want you to think about your business, okay? What are you sitting on and procrastinating in and saying, oh, that's too expensive. Oh, when I'm ready, then I'll invest. Well, maybe you can actually invest now. If you do that exercise, you're going to free up some cash that you can funnel into or move away from those liabilities and get those into asset creating tools for you, okay? So everything else is a liability, okay? So those are assets, okay? Those are assets. Now, everything else is a liability disguised as a business need. So one of my clients inside the Financial Freedom Accelerator Academy said, I didn't realize clarity itself was an asset. It sure is. You'd be surprised how many business seminars that I've gone to with entrepreneurs interested in starting a business, but they're scattered. They lack clarity. And every day that you're scattered and not clear with what direction you want to take in your business or what business you want to start, every day is a wasted opportunity that you can actually be building and creating your business if you just had that clarity. And if you need support in getting that clarity and direction, feel free to book a one-on-one coaching call with me. I do have some slots available, and we can work on your unique situation to help you gain the clarity and the confidence that comes as a result of it. So anyway, once my client gained that clarity, her business felt lighter and she felt safer instantly. Okay, safety is a big, big deal. You need to feel safe to be able to move forward confidently and make the decisions, the tough decisions as a business owner. Otherwise, you're going to procrastinate, you're going to self-sabotage. Okay. Now, that leads me to the next topic I want to share with you, which is the CEO identity shift. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the CEO identity shift. Here's the part most people overlook. Your identity determines how money moves in your business. When you see yourself as someone who manages money well, makes decisions calmly, understands their numbers, right, knows where their money is going and leads with clarity, then it's going to make you invest intentionally. You're going to think like a CEO. Your entire financial reality shifts. You don't chase money, you attract stability. You don't react, you plan. See? You don't fear looking at your numbers and tracking it. You feel empowered by them. There's pleasure in looking at your net worth and your income, right? This is what separates entrepreneurs who feel stressed from entrepreneurs who feel secure. Not income, identity, okay? So I hope that sunk in. And so in conclusion, if everything I talked about today hit home and resonated with you, if you're tired of uncertainty, if you want your business to feel predictable and grounded, and if you want to finally feel confident with money, then your next step is clear. Okay? Join my Financial Freedom Accelerator Academy, and inside you're going to learn step by step how to master your cash flow, how to eliminate debt, build long-term savings, create a money system that actually works. Stop emotional spending. We talked a lot about emotional spending here today. Okay, you're going to stop that. You're going to increase your profit because you're going to know what's leaking profit and what's actually increasing profit. You're going to get clarity on that. And finally, guess what? You're going to feel safe with money. You're going to feel safe with money. Okay. And now, if you want a deeper personalized support tailored to your business, again, I also offer the one-on-one coaching and consulting for entrepreneurs and small business owners ready to step into that next level with clarity and confidence. You don't have to guess anymore. You don't have to carry this alone. You really don't. You are not alone. I'm here to support you with all my heart. Okay, I'm here. I want you to succeed so much. Why? Because what I'm doing here, my work is a mission. Okay, and it's a vision to bring back the confidence, to bring back the control to individuals, to families. You know how I started my business? You know why I started my business? So that I can have more time with my kids, okay? Because I was sick and tired of working for corporate, locked into my own home, a prisoner of my own home, okay, in my home office, while someone else, my nanny, got to enjoy my kids the whole day. And I only got them for a few hours at the end of the day, or a little bit in the beginning, because I started work at 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Okay? So all my energy went to corporate. All my energy went to working for someone else, building someone else's dream. And the little itty bitty time at the end when I was exhausted, I had time for the ones that mattered the most, my children. Okay? So this is more than a business. Okay, this is a journey, a transformational journey, one person at a time. Okay, that's what I offer. Right? You don't have to feel financially unstable ever again. You really don't. Your transformation starts when you learn to see your business like a true CEO, and I can help you do that. Okay, whether it's with my paid products and services, or with my free content. I've got literally hundreds of videos available for you as well. Okay, and I do that with my whole heart, pour my heart and soul into each video training so that you can learn as much as you can. But there's only so much that I can share in the 15-20 minutes. Okay, so if you want more, I encourage you to take the next step. Okay, the link to join us is below, and I cannot wait to support you inside. And I'll see you in the next video. Oceans of love. Till next time.